Hey everyone, I'm Sebastian, this is Dawn. She's intrigued by Bob Norman, the skeleton right now. We're locally world famous chiropractors in Huntington Beach, and you might think, what does locally world famous mean? Well, it means famous but locally, but we say we're world famous. Like your favorite pastrami sandwich shop. So
he says, not we.
She, that's what she said. So anyways, we're going to cover some ways to strengthen your hip today. Some good hip strengthening exercises. We're going to probably cover 5, maybe a little bit more. Might get a bonus at the very end. But first we're going to cover why this is important for hip pain, as well as various different types of problems such as the knee and the low back, since it's a supporting structure for it. And so you can do these exercises and test them out. And if you find success, just put in the area below which one worked for you. By the way, there's a little dot somewhere in the corner. You should subscribe.
Beginning of the video, I like it.
Yeah, we probably should, because people tune out later. But honestly, the point is, if we're trying to get you to the good information, we got to tell you how to find it, right? So go subscribe to our channel and search hip stuff. So when we're talking about hip, actually, is there anything you want to add before we go into hip?
No, I think you're doing great. Do you want me to add anything? Is there something specific you were thinking?
No,
Okay.
No, I just felt like I was talking a lot. Someone's going to comment, yeah, you were talking a lot. Shut up, man. Yeah, whatever. If I was blank on the camera, you'd say something too. So here's the hip. And the things that are important, the thing you should realize with the hip is all of the muscles are important that go across. So we have the glute medius, we have the glute minimus, we have the glute max, we have the rotators, the obturator, the gemelli, the piriformis, the stuff in front, the adductors, and so on. We have the hip flexor. Here's the reason why it's important is because let's just say if my hands are the hip muscles, see I'm going to surround the hip right there. I'm going to contract them all at the same time because they're never really relaxed. I'm going to contract them all at the same time. Watch what it does to the hip. It centers it. Okay? Now imagine if your hip flexor is working too much. And it flexes the hip, granted, but see how it kind of displaces forward and out. That probably hurt Bob Norman. But it displaced out of the socket right there. And so we're trying to support the socket, all right? Or support the joint within the socket. So we want to create firm contraction around this area to make the hip happy. And this goes for things like hip impingement, labral tears that aren't really big labral tears. It's kind of like suspicious, like, oh, I think you got a labral tear, but not like one where they're kind of freaking out about it. And various other different types of tendinitis of the hip. All these things we're talking about today will be helpful for that. So, but the hip is very important for movement. If it moves well, your spine feels good. If it moves well, your knee feels good. All right. So it's a very important structure that people just, as we sit a lot throughout our lives, especially 40s and 50s, because we work a lot and try to make some money and support our family, for like 14, 15 hours a day, they estimate, you're in this kind of flexed position. So a lot of the therapies is based upon getting out of that and doing the opposite. And Grandma was right. If you don't use it, you will lose it. What's the first one we're going to do, Dawn?
Put that on. My turn to talk.
Okay. Good.
All right, so this one is very simple. Some of you may have seen it at home. Some of you may not. You could do this with a band or even without a band too. So if you don't have a band, you could still get into this position and do it, and it can still be challenging. So he's getting into this propped up position onto his elbow here. His feet are staying connected, and all he's doing is bringing this leg up towards the ceiling and back down, and that is working the glute on this side, okay? If you feel like maybe this is hurting your back or other areas besides the glute, stiffen up. So just really firm up that belly and then just focus only on this rotation in the hip here.
Well, I can't get that high, Dawn. Someone else did it this high. Well, I can only get this high.
That's fine.
Okay.
I want you to only be moving in the hip here. You notice if he tried to get higher, do that again. Everything else moved. His whole torso moved, and that's not the importance of this. The importance is that hip that we just went over in the beginning. And so, yes, exactly. That looks great. Only booty cheek contracting there.
Well, so I'm a little concerned because it hurts where my hip hurts.
Okay, so differentiating between the pain that you've been feeling or if it's just effort of that muscle, that is going to be super important in this. And if this is one thing where you're just like, I just can't do it, or it just doesn't feel good, that's fine. We're going to go over some of the things that may be better for you.
Yeah, and the good thing I think about too is usually when we're having something that creates the problem, it's pinpoint. When it's something of effort, it's broad. So you want to have a broad area of effort. Okay, so I'm going to show you the next one. Go ahead and take a seat right here. This one's simple. I showed this one in a class where people were, they were kind of, some were in wheelchairs, some were having problems walking. So it was very, I'm not going to say it was just low level because it is a hard one, however hard you want to make it. But the goal is to get the hip flexors to not overly work so hard, and you got to get the core to work with it as well. And so all we're going to do is take a hand, okay, push up, push down, okay. I want you to push down so hard, especially with this hand, that your belly works.
Which hand?
This outer one.
Outer one, same side hand?
If you only do the cross one, it'll tend to get a little groiny right there on you. But if you double down on this one, you'll start to feel right around here.
Yeah.
Your belly. Oh, is that hard?
I can't even do it for very long.
Okay. So if you're at a desk, a cool thing to do is, especially if it's a heavy desk, this is the way we did in the workshop, is I had them put their knee on the bottom of the thing, and I had them push down on the desk and then push up on the desk like you're trying to break a hole in it.
What if I feel it in my hip flexor?
So if feeling your hip flexor, then maybe this isn't the right one for you. But you should feel this one mainly in the belly. A lot of the ones that we do that are more of bringing the hip up, you should feel in the belly. A lot of the ones where you're bringing the hip back or to the side, you should feel in the butt cheek, right?
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, it is.
So I'd hold it for
Sitting
maybe...
up straight made a difference on my hip flexor for some reason too. If
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like this and did it, like I just feel my hip.
Oh, yeah.
But if I sat up, like that's all belly.
Yeah. So, yeah, posture will change it slightly. So tinker a little bit, all right? But so that one is, like, you don't have to choose all these. This is just one that if you're at a desk, this is a super easy one to do. And even so, like when it comes to just gait and linking the body up as a nice system too, you can actually take, you don't even have to use the legs. Dawne, imagine on the desk. Put your hands on top. Break the desk.
Like, no way.
Make your belly work.
Do you want me to lift my leg up? Or just do this?
No, so just push down. And so all movement of the limbs, such as the hip and the shoulders, they all start at the core anyway. So she was a little bit zealous on it, but just kind of holding it down. You don't want to look like you're trying to steal the joint. Like you would just want to see that everyone to kind of look at you like you're attentive when you're doing it. So it's a little bit more of just, okay? So what are we doing next?
The glute bridge one.
The glute bridge.
We can do it on here.
Okay.
Let's do it here. So this one is going to be a different variation of glute bridges or hip thrusters that you guys are normally used to. So just show them a normal hip thruster for me, or glute bridge.
Two legs?
2 legs, yep. Where you're just driving your heels up like so. Belly is flat. You are not, extending in the low back here and getting your rib boobs. Keeping belly nice and flat, driving straight up like this, and then right back down. If that feels good for you and you want a little bit more of a challenge, I recommend one where you take this leg for me, put it over this one. So it kind of looks like that figure 4 position. Now it's a single leg. Hold this position, stiffen up, hold at the top for me. Stiffen up, and then try to bring that knee down and back up. Good, come high, 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 there you go. So just challenges different fibers of the glute there and challenging a different motion while you have to hold up. And you'll really feel that booty fire on that side.
Yeah, you really feel top.
At the top.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how many times would someone do that one maybe?
That one just to fatigue. I wouldn't even give it a specific like sets and reps or anything of that sort. Just go what feels good. And when we say fatigue, it's not like, I'm feeling warm and now I'm good. It's, I don't really think I can do this much longer. That's how much we're feeling it.
Mm. So it looks like, so that one we target a lot of extension, so it was a lot of glute max as well as other glute fibers. The first one we did a little more glute med. It's the banded clamshell. And we did some belly wall combined with hip flexor. And so maybe we just do something which is a, is this our last one on the table, I think? We're going to do split squats, and then we're going to do, we do Sumo Walks, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to then take the table away. We'll show you some more stuff, which is, it's going to seem, again, really simple, and it's supposed to be simple.
Simple.
Simple. Okay, so go ahead and why don't you just take a knee? Let's make sure you're in camera view here. No, the camera's fighting me. Don't fight me, camera.
You can see my front shoe. I think I'm okay.
Okay. So go ahead and stand for me. And take a knee. And stand for me. If you do this enough, you'll start to realize your hip will start to work on the other side. Now, if your groin starts to hurt, then I think we have a little bit of an issue. We just take some of the depth away, and we put something like a block underneath her knee right here. Okay? Sink, 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 sink back up. And so I'm going to talk to her about this. And okay, Dawne, where do you feel pain? Or tell me when you feel pain.
When I feel pain?
If you feel pain in your groin.
I mean, I don't, but if I did, it'd probably be like right about here. So
Okay.
I'd feel like tightening in there.
Okay, so if she feels pain, stop and go up before you feel pain. Okay, so none of these exercises should feel painful, nothing pinpoint, and we're slowly going to expose the body to more range. And so people might wonder, like, well, what is this doing for you? Well, it's strengthening the front hip, it's lengthening the back hip, and it's teaching how to use her legs and strengthen basically the entire body. Okay. It also works on balance. If she's having an issue on balance, we can spread her feet this way a little bit, like wider on a diving board. Good. And she's doing the diabolical evil villain hands, which work out pretty well.
I don't know why I was doing that. It just it helps with focus.
It's pretty intuitive, I think. A lot of times it keeps people's chest up.
Yeah.
Because go ahead and come down for me. Show me like I don't have enough strength in my legs, but I really want to get more depth. Yeah, so there's that. There you go. So a lot of people do this roundy thing, and the diabolical hands tend to take that away. So that's one simple thing. Again, it's really hard to ignore the principles of just general physical preparedness. If you haven't used your leg in a while, if we just get it physically prepared for movement, it just stops hurting. And a lot of people who go see trainers and they're like, you know what, I started working out, and my leg got stronger, and my knee stopped hurting. What the hell? I tried every treatment in the book, and all I had to do was strengthen my legs. The hip's kind of the same sometimes. Okay, let's do Sumo Walks.
Want me to do it? That's fine.
Yeah, why don't you do Sumo Walks, and I'll this one will take a different camera angle, so
Okay.
You talk.
Got it. All right. So for this one, some of you may have seen this movement before, but the different way that we're doing it is we're putting the bands over the toes here. So right at the edge of the toes here is how we're going to do this. It's going to be a little bit more of a challenge. And so first thing is going to be, I'm a little out of breath from those split squats.
Gotcha.
So what I'm going to do is get a little bit of a stretch on the band first, like this, and I don't want to ever lose that tension throughout this movement. What we say is pretend like you're looking over a cliff. You want to see who's down the cliff. Like this here, nice athletic stance, and then I'm just going to wobble side, other side, backwards, and forwards. You don't want to lose all the tension like this. You don't want to wobble to try to get it going.
That's a dance the kids do, huh?
Yeah. Ooh, my booty's on fire already.
Can you show me from the side?
Yes. So again, grab the tension, keep the tension, look over the cliff, and go.
Woo! Fancy feet.
It's like happy feet, huh?
Yeah, it's like is that what they do in the movie?
It sounds like it. Sounds similar.
So those are some simple things to do. They're not an end all. We should show one bonus, I think, because this one's probably going to be important.
What you got?
So we're going to add some contraction to a stretch.
Okay.
Okay, because this is a stretch that will really help out a lot with people. So let's go. Let's do a half kneeling psoas stretch. Okay. And so let's see.
This way?
Yeah. And so you might have to describe the contraction since I'm.
Okay.
Okay. So here we go.
Oh, you want me to just do the whole thing? Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so some of you, when you're trying to get a stretch in this specific area, especially if you're having pain or tightness, a lot of times you see people doing this type of stretch here. Okay, So they're coming forward to get that feeling of a stretch here. Then they're trying to push a little further. It kind of just like looks like this whole thing, like so, okay? So a better way to perform.
SeaWorld. The SeaWorld thing, yeah.
So a better thing that you can do is instead come forward. So if you see here, see how I'm extended? If I just squeeze this butt cheek on this side that I'm trying to stretch the same hip flexor, you see a little bit of a difference in how neutral it is right here in my low back. So I can show you the difference again here.
Hold on. Okay. So this is the sloppy one?
This is relaxed, and then squeeze the butt cheek, and it comes forward. Okay, that automatically I already feel a stretch right here. I don't have to go much further while still squeezing that butt cheek to now really feel a stretch in this specific area. And it's more of an active movement of the entire hip rather than passive and taking everything else into consideration as well.
So how many reps do you think we should do with that?
Would you rep it or would you hold it?
Well, good question. I think we could do either,
We could do
right?
both.
I like to have people rep it, like maybe about 10 reps every couple hours throughout the day. Think of it as reverse the position that you're in. I'd love to say our job is complicated, but sometimes they do too much sitting and you do the opposite and they somehow feel better. And so you just need to build a big bank account of hip extension throughout at least a couple days, and you might notice a big change. But if you do holds, that's fine too.
Every time I look at you, there's like a hair in my way.
Yeah, I see it. There you go, still there. I don't think that worked. Okay. Okay, so again, we're in Huntington Beach if you guys want to come see us. We do it, and we try to be honest about all this stuff with people, is that you can try a lot of this stuff at home, and it might help some of you, but some of you will really struggle to get it to stick. And there is no substitution for in-person care. We've seen a lot of people get better very quickly just by simply coming in. If you're not local though, what do we have in store for you?
So we have come up with many, many ways that we can help meet people where they are. And so we have things such as online programs through an app that you can follow some of these things that we're going over and progress you through it. We have online guides. We have recorded webinars and audios. We have virtual appointments where you can hop on a video chat with us, do a movement assessment, or hop on a video chat with us and we take you through what we think else would be beneficial for you. Maybe one of these things and then maybe 4 to 5 other things that could help. Tons of options, tons and tons and tons of options. I don't know if I could come up with anything else at this point of ways to help people while they're still at home. So if that sounds like something that you guys are interested in, you would like a little bit more guidance, shoot us an email. That's the best way to go about it. info@p2sportscare.com. And let us know, hey, I saw your video on this is what I have going on, and I would like some help, and I would like some guidance, and we'd love to help you.
Yep. And yeah, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys next time.